Peace and blessings, you all. It is Akila McQueen, aka Empress, awakening the hearts, the minds, and the souls of all those that I may encounter. That is my life duty, as it is yours.
Peace, family. It's Supreme, and we back at it to bring you some more Christ content.
First, we're going to begin with music meditation from the King. And as he's playing, I'm going to ask that you take a moment to just close your eyes, get your back straight, so that we can take some holy breaths together. Ready?
Yeah.
All right, close your eyes and take a deep breath in. Hold it. Now let it go. Take a deep breath in. Hold it. Now let it go. Take one more deep breath in. Hold it. Now let it go. Today we are going to be talking about service. I'm going to start it off by reading a passage from one of our books called Serving Humanity. It's a compilation of writings from Alice Bailey and Master Teacher Dujwal Koo. The master looks not at a worker's worldly force or status, not at the number of people who are gathered around his personality, but at the motives which prompt his activity, and at the effect of his influence upon his fellow men. True service is the spontaneous outflow of a loving heart and an intelligent mind. It is the result of being in the right place and staying there. It is produced by the inevitable inflow of spiritual force and not by strenuous physical plane activity. It is the effect of a person's being what he truly is, a divine creature, a divine child of God, and not by the studied effect of words or deeds. A true server gathers around those whom it is his duty to serve and aid by the force of life and his spiritualized personality, and not by his claims or loud speaking. In self-forgetfulness, he serves. In self-abnegation, he walks the earth, and he gives no thought to the magnitude or the reverse of accomplishments, and has no preconceived ideas as to his own value or usefulness. He lives, serves, works, and influences, asking nothing for the separate itself. Would you like to speak on that first, Kim?
Yeah. First off, gratitude, because that definitely hit me. So what we really want everybody to know is that service is the yoga of the future. You feel me? There's a quote, I'm not sure exactly by who, but it goes like this: there is nothing higher than the truth except living the truth. True living. There's nothing higher than the truth except for true living. So in this day and time, everybody's hearts and minds and hands and feet are called forth. The clarion call is to become an appendage of the ageless wisdom on the plane of the earth and other planes as well. But because we're here on earth as a foundation, our work should start here. Service is a method to approach the great ones. Service is your direct contact with heaven. Everybody should have a service plan. You know, everybody should have a service plan. From when you wake up into the morning until when you retire at nighttime, there should be something that you do or things that you do that are service, provide service to the common good. And the beautiful thing about it is that it doesn't have to take the face of you creating this giant international organization that has 1,000 members and is giving money to XYZ. An example is a small portion of our service plan, or a small portion of our service plan is to put seeds in the earth. So if we eat some fruit, just putting a seed in the earth, gifting the earth with a seed anywhere of your choosing, as long as it's hospitable to that seed's growth. That constitutes one level of our service plan. Another thing out of that we like to do is to clean up the earth, random times, just completely random. You find yourself with some idle time, some downtime, just go outside, clean up the earth, and don't even think about it. Just do it. Just do it. Like literally, just all you're being, like all you're worrying about is cleaning up the earth.
And just to add on to that, like how it's like you're saying, like it's your being. It's who you are in your everyday thing. You can be working at a restaurant, and be a waitress or something like that. And in your service as a waitress, just being kind, being compassionate, being understanding, treating people as you would want people to treat you. You know what I mean? Using your God-given self in your walk, in everything that you do, in every person that you have an exchange with. Now, of course, we all gonna have our missteps and our make mistakes and are not always perfect in how we service. But as long as we can become cognizant of our actions, we can take better control of how we are interacting with the world. We're becoming more aware of our exchange in the world, our interactions with the world, instead of just kind of moving robotically. We want to be, hey, how you feeling today? Serving one another, addressing each other's needs on emotional levels, on spiritual levels, on physical levels, on mental levels. Okay, baby. But you can be, let's say, somebody that does telecommunications, and you're talking to people all day. Even in how you speak and the tone of your voice can be calming and soothing and making other people feel like, wow, that was some great customer service. These things are important, and we should incorporate them in our day-to-day lives and our business interactions, and not be so like, I'm just trying to make this money, or I'm just trying to get on top. We got to always try to bring our spiritual practices in everything that we do, because service is one of the highest praises that we can give to the universe. It's something I say a lot. When we are utilizing our gifts and we are sharing them with the world, that is service. And when the universe sees that we're serving, it serves us back. And we shouldn't do it, for reciprocation, but we should do it because it's what's in our hearts. But that is one of the things that you will see once you start serving from your heart, once you start joyfully giving, that the universe gives back to you in a plethora of ways, and an abundance and prosperity of development in your growth and in your evolution.
One of the most beautiful things that you can do in terms of learning, knowledge, information, and internalizing that and letting that become wisdom is when you have a lot of energy in your aura, and a lot of knowledge and a lot of wisdom. The way that you manifest that on the earth and internalize that energy and make it a part of yourself and the community is through service. There's a lot of people who read a lot of books and who sit in the house and watch a lot of videos. And that's okay to a certain level. But if you have all of this on your aura, it actually can suffocate you. So the way that you grow through that is to do a service. The way that you let go of that energy and manifest that energy is through service. And service also awakens the powers of the soul, because the soul essentially loves to give. It's the personality that loves to take things. It's the personality that doesn't like to give. But anytime you give, you're actually tapping into the heart, the cultivation of the heart. So when the soul gives, it grows. Consciousness expands every time you give. The soul expands every time you give. The higher consciousness awakens every time you give, because that is essentially an act from the heart.
Um,
I was saying that service, when you give, your soul expands, because that's a property of the soul. Giving service, that helps you get back in alignment and memory with who you are as a soul on this earth.
And as you start to elevate in your spirituality, you will start to see that everything that is worth doing is on a soul level. Everything that's going to bring value to your life is on a soul level. Your soul yearns to serve. Your soul yearns to be closer to the divine. And divinity shows us all day long that it's serving. If we just take a look at the earth and we look at the trees, it's serving us all day long. And not just us human beings, but all different kingdoms. We spoke about that in our other video in Communion in Nature. The sun is serving us all day long as well, giving us light, giving us energy, activating our pineal glands, providing us with vitamin D, increasing our life force energy. And we got the rain that pours down that gives us water. We have the fresh waters that we actually drink from. Even the ocean, the earth is made up of 70% of water, and most of the oxygen that we actually receive in this earth to be able to breathe comes from the algae that's in the water that's serving us, and we don't even pay attention to it. We don't even realize it sometimes until we become aware of the earth that is providing us every single day, serving us every single day. The fruit that we eat, it's serving us. The plants that we eat is serving us. Even the animals around the world, they're serving us in their wisdom and just their very way of living and their very way of being. We can learn so much just by looking around and seeing that we are in a dimension that is of service. And that's a powerful meditation.
And just to build on that too, like how Queen was saying, all the greatest things in nature serve and give of themselves and utter self-abnegation. What if the sun was like, well, nope, I ain't about to give y'all no light today. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all too stingy, or I can't give y'all no light. Like that, it doesn't work like that. The universe doesn't work like that. It's either you're all in it or you're not. You know what I'm saying? There's no gray area for this. There's no gray area for this. And another beautiful thing about it is that some creatures that haven't even penetrated physical matter actually are so great that we recognize them as laws. Like if you look at meteorology or atmospheric science, like you can read about how rain happens and how thunderstorm happens and stuff like that. But these are all mechanical laws that today's science would give you. But if you look in our ancient and traditional lineages and indigenous wisdom, you would see that the rain happens because of different nature spirits and elemental beings. So these are conscious forces actually in action.
Yes.
But they're so raw that they've been immortalized and they do their job nonstop, incessantly. So much that you think that they're a mechanical law. Up until you hear tribes such as the Hopi or other tribes can call upon the rain. It's not because that they can just It is because they call upon these spirits
Spirits, yeah.
and these laws, because they themselves have embodied some of these laws
And tap into those entities.
and tap into to some of those entities. So once you become a law, you can recognize other laws that vibrate on that plane, and in turn become a higher law. And it is the highest law on this earth at this time to serve. That's why we were down here. We were given this body as a loan to serve. It would behoove us to even think of your heart as something that's just yours. Please do not. Because after you get knowledge and understanding and your PhD and your certificate and your license or whatever, it is literally so that you can contribute to the greater whole. So don't even think of your heart as your own. It is not personal property. It is not personal property. After a certain point of time, after a certain point of evolution in your spiritual maturity, you'll see that it was given to you to service everyone. And actually, all hearts are connected. You know, these are just mathematical points in nature that share values and energies. And we all tap into each other, you know. So it's the greatest task on this earth to live according to what you perceive in your heart and manifest that in the physical plane. That broadens your consciousness. That expands your consciousness far greater than you even going into a technique of prana yoga or kundalini yoga, trying to artificially stimulate some of these centers. Right living, true service, that actually opens up your centers 1,000-fold and at a natural pace, you know? So service is the order of the day.
Yep. And just to finish off by saying we are living on the planet of the heart, as we see so much green, and we're living on the planet of communication, meaning our interactions with all beings that reside here. And just as the heart is pumping blood all day long for every cell, every organ, every fiber of your being, every day, all day long, serving you. And the moment that it decides to stop, that's when it stops. You stop living. You know what I mean? And that's the same thing as that we should be doing on the external world here as humans, to just be serving all day long to our dying day. You know, so this vehicle is no longer here with us, and our soul, you know, transcends to go on to do something else. Did you want to say something else?
Yeah, absolutely. Looking at geometry or biogeometry, you'll see that everybody's heart is the same size as their hands clasped together, right? So if your heart is the same size as your hands clasped together, that's telling you that your heart or your hands are a fourth dimensional projection of your heart and your will. So it's literally letting you know that your heart is down here to serve, to give infinitely, you know? So I just want everybody to know that when we step into the mystical dimension of the heart, it is literally about service and giving. And once again, that does not have to be this great task where you create this international organization or join an organization at your school or anywhere. It starts with you. It starts with you having a plan and a service plan and working at it day by day, tirelessly. And that's what it is. That will raise your consciousness tenfold. That is also going to be a yoga of the future. Service.
So we hope that on your day that you serve as much as you can every day for the rest of your life. Peace and blessings to you all. Thank you for tuning in. Much love and light to you.